Persecution and slander that was happening in Smyrna 1,900 years ago is still happening to the church today. When Christianity goes really public in a pagan world, instead of remaining in its safe, isolated churches, when it goes really public, the opposition labels us not as mistaken. It doesn't say, well, we think you're wrong and we're just going to choose to coexist, as they say on their bumper stickers. They say, no, you're mistaken. But not mistaken as in, oh, we can all get along together, mistaken as you are the wrong ones. You're not another option. You're not respectable people leading a respectable lifestyle. But how do they paint Christians? They paint them as evil and dangerous. They're a threat. We got to keep them from getting any sort of power because they might force us to do what they want to do. Just look, if you have any experience, if you've been following at all what's happening in the persecuted church around the globe, look at what's happening to the persecuted church in India. Look at what's happening to the persecuted church in Muslim countries. Look at what's happening to the persecuted church in any place that practices animism or elder worship. Christianity is a threat, and they're trying to stop it from spreading as much as they possibly can. But we don't even have to go that far abroad. I mean, the exhortation given us to Smyrna applies to us here in our context today. The opponents of Christianity oppose us not by saying that we're wrong, but by saying that we're evil and dangerous. And this is how they say it, that we're anti-choice or anti-woman, that we're anti-intellectual. We're anti-tolerance. Gasp. We're anti-diversity. There's a lot of other accusations involved in that. Now, I don't know what else they may claim in the future, but they will do this in direct proportion to how public we are in our faith, how public we are about the claims of Christianity. The more public we go, the more we get out there and are emboldened to be in our community, the more the resistance is going to come. And you've seen it already. I mean, bakers and web designers and photographers are sued for standing on their conscience because they're supposedly engaged in discriminatory practices. Multiple counselors across our nation have been charged with federal crimes under the FACE Act simply because they wanted to make sure that there were young women that had all of the information about the choice they were about to make. Those are the kinds of things that I can just pull those things, cherry pick those things right off the top of my head and say, yes, there's persecution happening against the church. Is our persecution like it was for Smyrna? No, not yet. But if we get bold, if we are emboldened to share our faith, will we see that kind of persecution? I think that we probably will, because Satan isn't going to stop. He doesn't have to be emboldened against us because, quite honestly, the church has been asleep in the light for decades. He didn't have to move against us. Just let them sleep. Don't wake them up. Now, please understand, I am not equating those kinds of things to being burned at the stake. I know the difference. There is real persecution happening abroad where Christians' lives are legitimately threatened. We are not threatened like that. And I am also not issuing a call to action. I've been saying from the very start of this study in Revelation that our purpose is to make friends so that we can earn the right to tell them about our love relationship. We are not out here attacking enemies. We never have been. Well, some sects of Christianity have been. We are out there trying to make friends so that we can tell them about the wonderful thing that Christ has done on their behalf so that they can experience the future glory and hope that we have. Making friends to tell them about love. I said last week that we should be out talking about our fiancé. Who doesn't talk about their fiancé when they're engaged? But if Smyrna is the model, there's going to be slander. If we do that, if we get active, if we wake up and get out of our seats and go out beyond the walls of this church, there's going to be slander. Even though we're simply telling people about hope and joy and love, they'll make it seem like we're being judgmental or divisive, that we have some sort of imperialistic intentions and we're trying to seek out control over those that are around us. John Piper says to that, the ironic and tragic response of many Christians in that atmosphere of conflict is to do one of two things. Most will simply disappear. And they think that they're doing God a favor by stirring up no opposition to his name. The other option is to strike back. But he goes on to say, and I agree with him, but that is not the way of Christianity. Jesus doesn't ever counsel the Christians in Smyrna to lay low and disappear, nor does he say, get militant. Instead, his counsel is, do not fear what you're about to suffer. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. See, this is a middle road that neither cowers nor gets even. Instead, we continue to talk in glowing terms about the love affair that we have with God and our eventual future with him, just like any engaged person does when they talk about their fiancé. And when someone says, will you please just shut up about him, to a girl who's about to get married, what does she do? I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. It wasn't my intention. I just think he's so wonderful. And then she goes and finds somebody that will listen to her. And that's what we should do too. We're supposed to say, hey, I'm sorry that it offended you, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to find somebody that isn't offended by me talking about my love relationship. You say, wow, you're a super downer of a person. I'm just going to go talk to somebody else that doesn't make me feel like that when I talk about my love. But look at what it does in terms of our witness. If I encounter others that treat me like that, I don't have to spend any time in judgment. I just simply go find somebody else that I can talk about my love relationship with. I go, okay, you don't like what I'm talking about. That's fine, I'll move on. And we're admonished to do scripturally. And Jesus trains up his disciples, and the very first time that he sends them out to witness throughout Judea, he says to them, if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet when you leave that house or town. In other words, don't beat yourself up. They don't want to listen to your glowing excitement about what you found and about how amazing Jesus is. If they don't want to listen to you, just go, okay, I'm moving on. I'll find somebody else that does. And there's no judgment in that. It's just you decided you didn't want to hear. Somebody's going to want to hear how awesome this is. I'll go find them. And there's no judgment in that. You're just saying, fine, I'll give you what you want. I'm moving on. And God does this every day. So in his training of the disciples, he says, don't take anything with you. All I want you to take with you is what you know about me. That's all you need. Do you see, we bring our love affair into these relationships we find ourselves in, wherever they are. And we tell people about Christ wherever we are. And if no one wants you to do that where you are, well, you don't press, you don't stress. You just say, okay, I'm sorry that you don't want to hear about this amazing thing. And you move on. Or maybe you don't think it's that amazing. Maybe you think it's an obligation, and in which case now I understand why you're stressing over these relationships, trying to drive home the point. Now I get it, you love these people as well, and you want to see them in heaven, and that is commendable. And so you keep coming back to them over and over and over. But again, you don't judge them, and you never have, or you shouldn't. Give me another opportunity. I want to tell you about what I experienced with Jesus today. No, I don't want to hear it. Okay, all right. I'll go tell somebody who does want to hear it.